It seems like in the modern day, every single time we're seeing a big game that's about to be revealed, studios like to try and handle it in a different way. They'll either do fake leaks or hype people up, or sometimes just do a tiny little teaser with a logo. But what Borderlands just did is something else entirely. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and we gotta just dig into the newest trailer that we just got because Gearbox, the developers of Borderlands, just decided to freaking win at PAX East by revealing that we're getting a new giant sequel, which is of course Borderlands 3. Now before we get into this video, I just want to warn you that they're actually working on my house, so I'm trying to record this around something, but you may hear like a bang or something like that, and if you do, I apologize. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and let's dig into everything. So this was an hour-long panel that was done at PAX East, but what was cool is that it was kind of a giant celebration of literally all things Borderlands. They had cosplayers wearing cool outfits. They were showing tattoos from some of their hyped up fans. It was basically them saying, thank you for letting us do this. And I kind of got to respect them for that. But let's really get into what's most important, which is of course the reveal itself. Now Borderlands 3 looks like they're trying to do, in my opinion, the smartest solution, which is that if you're trying to do a sequel to a game as famous as Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1, you need to try and play things safe. And play things safe, what I mean by that is just do what already worked, but bigger. And it looks like they're totally doing that. In the trailer, they talk about the fact that it looks like every single character is now going to have multiple special abilities. It looks like the talent trees may be different. It looks like each of the playable characters is going to be all new, but every single past hero that survived their game is actually in this. You even see a saxophone solo by Brick, and personally, I love Brick, so I was cracking up. The only people that aren't in this is a couple of the villains. Like one time, Randy Pitchford comes out on stage to basically say, yeah, Handsome Jack is not coming back. He is super dead. So it's nice to know that this is definitely going to be a straight up continuation. Something else they said in the trailer is that there's going to be over 1 billion guns. Billion with a B. Let me just try and write billion out on the screen with a bunch of zeros. Do you see this? This is how big the number 1 billion is. That is how many weapons are going to be in this game. Now, where are they going to be putting them all? Well, apparently everywhere. It looks like there's going to be tons of new enemy types. There's new twin villains that are like some sorts of people who like to try and hunt down sirens if the leaks are correct. But the biggest thing to me is something that's said in the trailer that definitely hit me like a freaking truck is apparently they use the term multiple worlds. Now, does this mean that there's just going to be lots of different biomes and ecosystems? Or does this mean we're actually going to be visiting places all around Pandora? Maybe we'll be visiting multiple moons or space stations or maybe time travel. I mean, we really have no freaking idea, but from this trailer, it looks giant. Every part of this was pure liquid passion, and I am so here for it. Something else they showed during this really long panel that was pretty cool to me was they're trying to do stuff like a Borderlands board game, which, okay, whatever. But additionally, and something that gets me so freaking happy, I'm so happy right now, is they're bringing back the original Borderlands. Now, the first Borderlands, it's aged a little bit weirdly, just because, I mean, it was the first of its kind. It was the first straight-up looter shooter, so of course, it's going to be a little bit raw. So they've decided to actually update it to a bunch more modern conventions. Apparently, they're going to put the map on the screen, they're going to do some small quality of life changes, and one of the things they're actually talking about is apparently it looks like it's going to have 4 players split screen co-op, so you can actually get this on an Xbox One or something like a PS4 and play it, and it's going to look gorgeous. They're actually doing a giant update as well for PSVR. The what is it called? Borderlands 2 VR is getting all of the DLC. The Borderlands Handsome Collection is getting Ultra HD textures, so if you own that game, there's about to be a free update where all the DLC and everything is now going to be 4K. This was basically a giant celebration, basically having Gearbox come out and say, look, you guys made us super, super rich, we're super, super wealthy now, and we want to try and give that back. We want to try and make this game even bigger and more insane. Now, one of the things that I thought was really, really interesting is Seeing all the different characters. So in the trailer, they actually revealed quite a bit. It's pretty hidden in there, but seeing the entire cast, because it basically showed like, well, it looks like everybody that's going to be in the game got at least a second on screen, and what was really peculiar was the fact that we saw everybody from previous games, but we also saw the fact that this is definitely going to be several years in the future. Like, one of the things is Tiny Tina is actually a grown-up now. Well, it looks like she's probably around maybe 18 or 19, maybe in her early 20s. She's not like the super little kid we once saw, but I'm excited because I really do hope that Ashley Birch comes back to voice her, because it will be funny to see that. Especially if you actually played all the different DLC for Borderlands 2, she got to do a lot of really crazy quests all on her own in Escape from Dragon Keep. So that's kind of the thing is, if you actually played all of Borderlands 1 and then all of its DLCs, and then Borderlands 2 and all of its DLCs, and then Borderland the pre-sequel, what you basically got was this big tapestry that shows how much humor they can put in a game. I mean, just some of the jokes that Handsome Jack says, like talking about Butt Stallion. It basically showed me the fact that games can be funny in a way that nothing else can. That's really what gets me the most excited about this, is that honestly this might be my game of the year. I'm so excited for it. Whenever it comes out. That's one thing I really wish they had done, is they didn't give us any sort of release window, at least not during this. Maybe they'll talk about it later in the weekend, but as of the recording of this video, they did not say anything about a release date. They didn't say 2019, 2020, but they did say that they've already been working on this game specifically for 5 years. Now, the average game only takes about 5 to 6 years to produce, and on the shorter side, some stuff only takes about 3 years. So I think that it's at least safe to assume that this is probably pretty close to release, if not totally done. I mean, it seems like it would be very, very cool for them to just come out on stage like they did, reveal it, have the 3,000 fans in the room lose their minds, and then just launch it a couple months later. I mean, it'd be great if this comes out in September or August, or maybe even like late October. It would be easily one of the top selling games of the year. You know, it was really funny. So I watched this reveal on Twitch, and it was really cool just watching everybody in Twitch chat lose their minds, because I mean, it's so much excitement. There were literally 200,000 people watching live, and it was pure memes. And one of the things that kept cracking me up was that in chat, whenever they would show off a bunch of big new guns or one of the new characters, people would basically put a boner emoji, because come on, it's the internet. One of my biggest things when it comes to this is hoping that we get a lot of content at launch, or multiple difficulties. Everything about this reveal was totally done right, but some of my biggest hopes are the fact that we get lots and lots of different extra stuff. So I really liked Borderlands 2 to a grand degree, but I definitely want to have more stuff like extra different talent trees, extra cool stuff to try and make it bigger and better, and really to give it a lot of replay value. I say this as somebody who's totally addicted to Diablo 3, and I like the fact that there's the idea of Paragon levels, where you can keep leveling after you've hit max level, or basically gear scaling, so the stronger you get, you can continually get better and better guns or better weapons. So it would make it where I want to make sure that this is a game that I can play for 80 hours instead of just 10 hours. I want this to be a looter shooter that doesn't really rely on the business model of things like Destiny or The Division. I want this to be a looter shooter that is about dropping in, playing with a couple people, getting a couple weapons, going back to town, and just redoing it all again. I don't mind actually repeating stuff as long as it's fun. Doing the same quests, finding the same side missions, trying to unlock every single portion of the map, and of course, every single freaking weapon is so exciting. I really hope that we get a lot of stuff like all the different gear vendors returning. I would love to have all the different elemental types, and I'm just so curious to see how these new people actually fight. There's so much potential, but really, right now, it's all kind of speculation. There are some big leaks that sort of actually revealed what these people will be like one of them's called the Botmaster, and in the trailer they definitely showed a gun driving along, just a gun with a wheel. So clearly we have some very strange stuff in store for us, but no matter what, I am super, super hyped. How about you? Have you ever actually played any of the Borderlands games, the original trilogy? Or are you somebody that's coming into this very, very fresh? Are you somebody that's actually going to pick them up now for the first time since they're getting remastered? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Oh man, I really hope that they have unlockable or maybe DLC in which I can play the original characters. Because honestly, I just love Brick so much, it would be so cool to actually get a chance to play him again. Or Salvatore. I love the dual guns of Salvatore. But no matter what, it is going to be legit! Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.